Hello, lovies. I am Robin Angela, and welcome to the Heart of Robin Angela podcast. I am so excited for you all to come on this new journey with me. I actually started a podcast back in 2020 called The Bird Seed, and it was great for that season, that time. But a lot has changed. I have changed. Business has changed. I'm so excited to move forward with a new season, a new day, new podcast. And before I even get started, I just want to say to my fellow believers, and what I mean by that is those who believe in God, those who believe that Jesus Christ is their Lord and Savior, to keep pressing, keep pushing, keep doing um, your best, because it's not easy doing your best, but keep putting your foot forward, and God will see you through. So I'm excited to grow a community with positivity, a community that can encourage one another, that can educate one another, exchange business tips, um, anything that is positive. Because, listen, we're living in a dark world. We truly are. It's just a lot going on. I don't have to bring up story after story because if you just look on the internet, you're going to see so many different stories. But on a positive note, some of the things that I'm going to talk about on the Heart of Robin Angela is my faith, which is really important to me. My faith is number one because that's what keeps me grounded. Definitely talking about mommyhood slash motherhood and where I'm at in this particular season of motherhood. I'm also going to talk about my business, Brownbird Events, which I started back in 2017. I'm specializing in weddings, but also doing special events, custom projects, anniversaries, birthday parties, retirement parties, also graduation parties as well. And then also talking about some of the corporate events that I've done and nonprofit events. So I'm excited to share tips and etiquette and do a little education about that. Also, this August, only in August, every single Friday on Instagram, on my Brownbird events page, you will see me going live at 6 o'clock to 6:30. I have a series called "I'm Engaged." Now what? Because that is a really important topic. But you can see me there, or you can follow me on my socials for more tips. Also, I will be talking about beauty because I think it's really important, not only in the wedding and special events industry, but as a girly girl, um, just tips and just information that I have. And I love getting new information as well. Things about keeping ourselves up mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Um, beauty tips, all that type of thing, all those type of things, lifestyle. I'm also a friend. I'm also a wife, etc. And so this podcast is really going to be a plethora of all those different subjects. And each week I will be focusing on something a little bit different. So some weeks will definitely, I'll be going into more of the business aspect of things. And then some weeks I'll be talking about beauty. Some weeks I'll be talking about my faith. So um, I'm excited because this first season extends to December 31st, every Wednesday. The Heart of Robin Angela will drop. It is going to be available on Spotify and all major platforms, as well as it will be uploaded on YouTube so you can watch YouTube. So I am super excited and I just really want to hop into it. The the why. If you know Robin, if you know me personally, I've always had I think I've always done things out of a why and a cause, right? That's just kind of who I am. I feel like God kind of creates us in various different ways. And when you get to be a certain age, when you have lived for a while and you have done your copycat season, right? Because when you're younger, a lot of us copycat because we're trying to emulate it. Oh, I want to be like this, or I want to dress like this. I want my makeup like this. I want my shoes and my wardrobe like this. I want to be like this. Not realizing all that time that God wants you to be authentically you. Because when you are authentic the way you are, He makes a way for you to attract certain people to you that need your help, need your friendship, need your resources, need your advice, etc. So, before I even begin uh, today's episode, I just want to encourage you, be yourself. And what that means is I'm not talking about the negative side of you, but be the person that you are because you can only be you. Maybe a lot of people have your name. Maybe a lot of people have your last name or your full name, whatever. Be you. Be the you that God has called you to be. Because when those business offers come in, those opportunities, those friendships open up, they're not looking for a copycat version of themselves, or at least they shouldn't be. They're looking for authenticity in you. You are somebody that they would like, somebody that can add value, that can add resources, that can add opportunity, or add insight and wisdom. So it pays to be who you are authentically. But my why is I realize as I am aging and aging well, and I love aging because aging is not a bad thing. It's actually a footprint that, hey, you are still here, you are still kicking, you are still alive, you're still doing what you need to do, right? But one of my whys is just realizing as I'm aging that there are many different layers to me. And I know a lot of my girly girls feel that way because if you're an entrepreneur, you're married, you are a daughter, you are a sister, you are whomever, or brother, it doesn't matter, brother, sister, whatever, cousin, you have layers to you. And everybody's going to get the side. And I just had this conversation with my husband. Everybody gets the side that they need to see. Not everybody is privy to all sides of you, right? Because I don't go into a supermarket telling everybody my business because I only give out information that pertains to that person. You might need to see my debit card, right? So you can swipe it, or I might need to give you ID for some sort of reason, but that's it, right? So, and I'm realizing again as I age, I'm like, wow, it's so many different layers, and everyday layers are more so in business mode and mommy mode and wife mode. I'm like, gosh, I would love a podcast to bring it all together and be able to give people more of the heart of me, the heart of Robin. Who is Robin? What does she represent? What does she stand for? And I think it's a myriad of things, and it will unravel in the many different episodes. So, again, um, just some of the topics again that I'll be talking about is faith and uh, mommy life, family life, being an entrepreneur, finances, and all those different things. And, success, failure, what does that really mean? And beauty, lifestyle, all those different things are important to me, right? So let's just get into why, right? This is the first episode, and I wanted on this first episode for you to understand why I even wanted to really do this. I have been told, and this is the truth, I have a good friend. I'm not going to drop her name because I don't know if I have permission to drop her name, maybe the next episode. But she told me, um, as an adult, she said, Robin, when we were in grade school, I used to love to hear you read. Like, she would get excited when I would open up a book and start reading out loud, or when the teacher called me. Um, my undergrad degree is actually in theater management and administration. I thought at one time I wanted to be an actor. But I think acting really is its own entire beast itself. It's a craft that you really can't play around with. And even with all the training, you either have it or you don't. Yeah, it could be developed, But you either have that type of gift or you don't. And I think I have an outstanding speaking voice, but when it comes to acting, I would cower a little. So I went to theater management and administration. But nevertheless, my childhood friend, said, Robin, I got so excited hearing you read. I love listening to your voice. And then I've been told by other people you have a great speaking voice. So I'm like, you know what? Why not? So that's one of the reasons why I want to have a podcast. I think I have a great voice to be able to do it, right? And that's not a bragging thing. It's just like we all have our strength and our weaknesses, and communication is a uh, what would I say? A good asset, good not a characteristic. You know what I'm trying to say. But it's something that I can add on to my arsenal because I think I'm really good at it. Two, with all the misinformation that is spread, especially in the wedding industry. And what I love being on threads, and I love being on different forums and looking what the trends are, looking what the brides are doing, what the grooms are doing, looking at vendors and why vendors are happy or why they're upset. And I tell you, that's a whole nother episode for a whole nother day. And what I really feel like is going on in the wedding industry now as it relates to 2026. It is way different than it was, 5 years ago. And then 5 years before that, it was way different, right? So I want to be able to chip in a positive way. And sometimes I will be just straight direct because that's a part of me. That's a part of that communication gift. But want to be able to tell people and educate people in a positive and loving and sometimes direct way so they have more of an understanding, coming from a wedding planner slash coordinator slash consultant, and coming from even a corporate background. I actually used to work for a pharmaceutical company where I was heavy. It was a split position where I had admin on one side and then event logistics on the other. And I learned so much from that. How a lot of pharma events were run, and just how a lot of logistics were created. And I tell you, just marrying those two worlds together, I feel like I want to let people know. I don't want people to be ignorant. I don't want them to not know. I don't want to gatekeep on certain things, right? I want to be able to encourage couples and let them know what's what, right? And also encourage maybe small companies who are going through certain slumps or they need help in that area, just to be able to share some of the information that's out there. Um, Also, one of the things that I think is really important that I had to come to terms with on my own, when you choose the married life and you start to have children, that your life forever changes. As they say, nobody told me. There's some stuff that you learn along the way. And I learned what it was like to birth a first child and have a second child and then start working in the midst of that. And then you're still cooking, you're still cleaning, and you're taking care of everybody, but it seems like you're low on the totem pole. And just to encourage new mothers out there, that is a journey, it's a lifetime journey. And that as women, it is important not to lose yourself completely. I do feel like you lose pieces of yourself, but I think it's up to us, not anybody else, to continue to encourage our own selves, to keep ourselves up, and to deem ourselves important enough to say, I matter. Whether I eat today, yeah, I need to eat today. I need to eat 3 times a day. Yeah, I need to have snacks too. I need to drink my water. I need to have coffee or tea or whatever, you like to drink. Whatever it is, just self care, as they say. The blanket is self care. Didn't realize how much self-care is important, and really until you start marrying all those worlds together. And so now that I have experience, I do have my firstborn child is going off to college. So kudos to my firstborn, and my secondborn is going to be a junior this year. I'm excited for where they are at in life. And my husband, just got to give him a shout out, um, because he's a big part of my everyday world. He he is a, oh, how do I explain it? I know you hear so many different terms, but he is my best friend. He is a great partner, a great leader, because he is the leader in our house. He has the final say. And yes, I like it that way. Call me what you want, and we'll talk about that another day. Um, but he's just phenomenal in that way, and I appreciate him. I don't want to take him for granted. But all these worlds, so shout out to you, Boo. I love you. But all these worlds married together can sometimes feel like you are carrying the whole entire world on your shoulder. And starting off, with working and working a 9 to 5, having your dreams, being single first, and then you pivot to being engaged, and pivot to being married, and pivot to having children, pivot to having a business, pivot to having a podcast, and you're doing all these different things. It causes you to at times just feel extremely heavy. And there was a point in time where I was just overwhelmed with it, and just had God whisper in my spirit, "You're doing too much. You can't handle this." And me going back and forth to God, "Yes, I can. I can handle this." No, you can't. 2024 was a year that, fell down. My sugar levels was through the roof, blood pressure was through the roof. And I really just need to take care of myself a little bit better. So, again, my why is taking all these worlds, all these layers, mixing it up in one pot, God being the center, and realizing that everything's going to be okay. I am a phenomenal woman, a woman of God, a woman with etiquette, a woman with manners, a woman with a strong mind, a woman that loves the Lord, loves her kids, loves her husband, loves her community, taking all these worlds, mixing it together, and the output is the art of Robin Angela. So I'm so excited. Um, this podcast is going to run uh, all year round, but the first season will run through December 31st. The podcast is going to be dropping every single Wednesday. Um, don't have a specific time. It'll drop every single Wednesday. And only for the month of August, which is really cool. Just plugging this in for Brownbird events, I'm doing a series called I'm Engaged Now What? So you have to stay tuned for that, because that's a whole separate beast on its own. Couples get excited, you do this, that's what we all did when you first get engaged. You flash the ring, but then it's like, now what? And so, you may get pressure from parents, guardians, cousins, girlfriends, uncles. Hey, when's that wedding? Hey, what are y'all doing? And you need to know how to pivot to profit. In the words of my mentors from afar, I say she doesn't know this, but one of my mentors from afar that I have gleaned from, her name is Dr. Stacia Pierce. Shout out to Dr. Stacia. I love you. You have dropped, and her daughter Ariana, um, have really just dropped wisdom in jewels. And she taught me from afar. There's a phrase called pivoting to prosper. Pivot to prosper. And that means a lot of times we have to pivot from what we're doing that is not working, take another position, because that's what pivot means, to change, to move a little bit, and to go into the season of being able to prosper. And so that's what you're going to have to do as a couple. But nonetheless, stay tuned for that. I do my first live this Friday at 6. So it's going to be from 6 to 6:30. At times it might go over because I know when I get into education mode, I am dropping jewels and I like to bless people. I do. I like to give them information for free. And don't get me wrong, if you ask me to plan your wedding or special event, of course I have to charge because I do have a business. However, I do like to educate people and put information out there, anything that will help them get along. So excited for that. Um, so some of the things that even in business, the wedding planning business, if you look on a lot of different forums, like I said, there's just a lot of confusion. I hate to say it. A lot of people are not understanding why the wedding industry has gotten so high. I will give my personal opinion about that. I will encourage you for those, and you don't have to be Christian to receive what I'm saying, right? You don't, because all are welcome to listen and view this podcast, right? But I will say to my fellow believers, those who are Christ followers, I will continue to encourage you, to uplift you, and just to remember through it all, whatever plan that God has for you, it really is for you. That you don't have to copycat anybody. Be your authentic self, because that's where the gold is, and wait patiently on the Lord. When you wait patiently, the Bible says, you'll renew your strength. He'll renew your strength, right? And you'll mount up like an eagle will. So, um, looking forward to that, and just looking forward to really building again a community of positivity, a community of respect. I just see a lot in the world. We see a lot of disrespect, a lot of abuse, a lot of ratchetness. And I think every podcast has its own identity, its own place. This is not the ratchet place, right? But I can offer you etiquette. I can offer you tips on manners, because why not? Why not? And it's not saying, if you really receive it, not saying one person is better than the other. We got to get over, like, it's really not about it, but it's really about education. Hey, sis, hey, bro, we might not want to do that, friend. You might not want to do that. You might want to do something else. You might not want to crash out. You might want to take your deep breath, 1, 2, 3, and do better with it. So I'm super uh, excited to just be plugging in all these various topics. Um, I am a proud graduate of Stockton University, and I tell you, even giving a shout out to Stockton. Thank you, Stockton. Stockton, excuse me. Let me not get my alma mater name, messed up. Even a shout out to the director, Pamela Hendricks, who I haven't seen or talked to in years, but she was our theater director, and just some of the wisdom and the jewels that she dropped at that time. And you never know, probably as a teacher or professor, how you're going to influence your students. You may think, oh, I know they forgot about me. I never forgot about Pam. Pam was serious. You rarely see her smile, but she was kind, but she was very like, no, I'm going to raise you all up as professionals. Just tips on being on time, showing up in your auditions, and how to carry yourself on set, and things of that nature. Pam, and I do believe she's tenured there and she's still there. So if Kim ever sees this video at the time, um, well, I won't say my maiden name, but when she sees me, she's probably like, "Oh, I think I remember her," because at the time, most people were theater managers just acting. I was theater management administration, so I think I was probably the only one in my graduating class with that particular major. So, nevertheless, some of the things that I look forward to in this podcast is aha moments. When when community has aha moments and they can do something to upgrade, to change, to renew, to educate, to glow up, grow up, mature, all those things that we actually need on a daily, that's the stuff that I look forward to. I look forward to getting feedback and saying, Robin, keep it up. I love what you're doing. Can we hear about this? Now, will I talk about everything? No, because I do believe each platform, each podcast has its own identity and it's not for everybody, and I'm okay with that. But if it pertains to the Heart of Robin Angela brand, I, definitely would love to talk about it. So this is uh, just a reminder to you that there are people like me who know you're working hard, who know you might not be getting the attention you need or the attention you want or the job, going out for the job. And I can relate this to myself trying to get 9 to 5s, looking for 9 to 5 that really reflects me and not really finding one that reflects you. And to tell you to keep going anyway, because God has your back. He knows that you're not going to fit into mainstream. He knows that. A lot of, and if I could tell my younger self, you talk about the why. If I could tell my younger self, I would say, Robin, relax. He's preparing you. You're getting a myriad of experiences for later on. You're not cookie cutter. So you're not going to be the same as your friend. You're not going to be the same as your neighbor. You're not going to be the same as your coworker. Or Robin, you're not going to be the same as your husband. You're going to have different personalities, different giftings, and that's okay. And I think when we learn how to really fall back into God's arms and let Him direct us, that's where the less of the toil, the less of the I gotta hustle. Because, it's a hustle mode out here. Well, it's all about me. I hustled, I made it happen. And I'm not knocking the person who's saying that. I'm just saying for Robin, I didn't make it happen on my own. I had God um, right behind me, right in front of me, because he's omnipresent. So I had God really controlling the whole situation. And I really thank God for the successes and the failures and the no's that I've heard, the jobs that turned me down. Um, and I've had probably one experience, which is weird, but I applied for a particular position. I'm going to not going to name the company and whatnot because I want to keep that info private. But the recruiter there, or the manager, the hiring manager, I had applied for two positions. The first one I didn't get, and the second one I reached out because I knew who the hiring manager was, and she said to me, "Robin, I think you would be bored." I look at that now, and I'm like, she probably was right. She probably saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Then I was, taken back, like, what do you mean I would be bored? I was kind of a little arrogant with it and very, kind of upset and stuff. But sometimes people are telling you the truth. It's a blessing in disguise. Like sometimes they can see something on you that's greater than what they have to offer. Now imagine that somebody says, "Oh, I think you would be bored with this position." I think sometimes it's the way we carry ourselves, God. People can see the God in you. They can see something bigger. So you're going to get turned down for some things in this life. And like I said, just taking these myriad of experiences, not expenses, taking these myriad of experiences and saying, God, okay, with all these things now in the pot, how do I bring this? I know it's in the pot, but how do I really bring this and flavor it together? Like, how do I make these things work inside this particular pot. And so just being able to share that and really encourage people. And then like being able to let people know that in this life you're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna be angry, you're gonna be sad, you're gonna be excited, and that again, having God in the middle of all these different titles, the wedding planner, I mean that's nice. That's a great title. um, Wedding coordinator, wedding consultant. That's great. Oh, uh, you're the event logistics coordinator, or you are the admin assistant. All these different titles, and it just feels like, mm, all right, God, where are you going with this? But it's not even so much the title at the end of the day. It's who you are on the inside, and whether or not that your living purpose, your purpose in life. You have to live out your purpose. And God defines your purpose no matter what title you have. It doesn't matter. God defines you, not the title. So those are some of the things that I learned. And I'm just really, again, really excited to be sharing my heart. And again, I'm plugging this one more time. So every single Wednesday, the podcast, The Heart of Robin Angela, will drop. Like I said, this month in August only on the Brownbird Events platform. Every Friday, you can catch me at 6 o'clock doing a live. The series is I'm Engaged. Now what? Also, for those believers who want to follow and you don't have a church home and you just, you know, maybe you can't, maybe you work on Sunday. But my husband and I have a virtual ministry called Send Out 70 Ministries, um, where we really, not just preaching, because a lot of people, listen, we can preach to the cows come home. And I believe that's what God calls us to do as believers. We do need to preach the gospel, but also being a resource. I post, and my husband posts a lot of encouragement, a lot of encouragement, a lot of scripture, because I do believe we need scripture daily, to be able to withstand some of the things that are happening in our world. So that's an out. But anyway, my love, I'm keeping this podcast episode short because I just wanted you to get to know the heart of why I wanted to do this thing. I'm super excited again. I can't wait to see you. And until next Wednesday, I will see you soon. Love you.